Welcome to the Mesozoic Era. You have 24 hours to survive it. Spoiler: almost nothing makes it out alive. The Mesozoic Era lasted roughly 186 million years. It is split into three periods: the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. For this exercise, we are dropping you into the late Cretaceous, roughly 75 million years ago. North America, Hell Creek. This is not a friendly place. This is not a zoo. There are no fences. You land at midnight. The air is thick, almost 10% more oxygen than today. Every breath feels slightly wrong. The temperature is around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. At midnight, this is just the baseline. The first thing you notice is the sound, or rather, the sudden silence. In a functioning Cretaceous ecosystem, the jungle is never quiet. Insects, frogs, early birds. If it goes silent, something enormous just moved nearby. And here is your first problem: the plants. The flora of the Mesozoic is not like modern jungle. It is designed accidentally to trap you. Giant horsetails stretch 30, 40, even 50 feet tall. They grow in swamps. Step into a horsetail grove and the ground dissolves into waist-deep sucking mud. And the ferns. Everywhere. Endless ferns covering every surface, making it completely impossible to see the ground beneath your feet. You cannot run in this landscape. You can barely walk. It is now 1 a.m. You need to find high ground. Predators follow rivers and floodplains. High ground means visibility. Visibility means survival. But climbing in the dark means noise. And noise is an invitation. Let us talk about who lives here. The Cretaceous apex predator roster reads like a list of things your brain invented to ruin your sleep. First on the list, Tyrannosaurus rex, 40 feet long, 9 tons. Bite force of roughly 12,800 pounds per square inch, the most powerful of any land animal ever recorded. Its vision is better than an eagle. It can smell a carcass from miles away. And it is not slow. A T-Rex at full stride covers ground at around 12 miles per hour. You, a healthy human, top out at about 8 miles per hour in ideal conditions. This is not ideal conditions. But here is the terrifying nuance. T-Rex likely used ambush, waiting in tree lines, motionless, until something moved close enough. Think about that. The biggest predator to ever walk on land. Hiding. Waiting. For you to walk past. It is now 3 a.m. You have found a rocky outcrop. You climb it. You think you are safe. You are not safe. Meet Troodon. Small. About the size of a wolf. But with the largest brain-to-body ratio of any known dinosaur. It hunts at night, using forward-facing eyes with exceptional low-light vision. Troodon hunts in packs. They communicate. They coordinate. If one found you, more are already moving. You scramble down, you run. You do not look back. This is smart. Looking back costs you half a second. Half a second is everything. You reach a river, it is wide, it is slow. You think about crossing. Do not cross the river. Dinosaurs, a crocodilian from the Cretaceous, 33 feet long. Up to 8 tons. It did not ambush from the sides. It waited underwater, completely invisible, until its target stepped into the shallows. Modern crocodiles kill in under a second. Dinosaurs was 3 times the size of a saltwater crocodile. Do the math. You stay out of the river. You follow the bank, you keep moving. Dawn is still 4 hours away. The insects are the next thing you notice. Not because they are dangerous, mostly, but because of their size. Higher oxygen means larger insects. Dragonflies with wingspans pushing 15 inches. Millipedes the length of your arm. Cockroaches bigger than your fist. Everywhere. Most are harmless, but some of the biting insects of the Cretaceous carried pathogens your immune system has never encountered. Not once, in all of human history. One bite could introduce a disease your body has zero framework to fight. Not a slow disease, a fast one. It is now 5 a.m. The sky begins to lighten, a bruised purple at the horizon. You feel relief. You should not. Dawn is feeding time. Every predator that rested through the dark night is now active, and they are hungry. The Cretaceous sky at dawn is also not empty, and what fills it is somehow worse than what is on the ground. Quetzalcoatlus northropi, the largest flying animal that ever lived. 35-foot wingspan. Head alone is 8 feet long, longer than a human is tall. It stood 18 feet tall on the ground. Current research suggests it did not dive like a seabird. It stalked on the ground, like a stork from a nightmare. It walked on its wing knuckles and simply picked up prey from the surface. A human being is exactly the right size to be picked up by Quetzalcoatlus and swallowed. You are a snack. You are the perfect bite. You press against a tree. You stay still. Movement triggers predatory response. You know this. Your whole body is screaming to run. You do not run. It passes. You breathe. You have survived dawn. Barely. It is 6 a.m. The heat arrives instantly. Cretaceous mornings do not warm up. They ignite. Within minutes, the temperature climbs past 90. You need water. Desperately. But every water source is a kill zone. Predators know where prey drinks. They wait there. They have always waited there. Water is the oldest trap in nature. You find a small rocky seep, water trickling from a cliff face. No predator can ambush from a cliff wall. You drink. It tastes like minerals and sulfur, and you do not care. But even that water carries risk. Your gut bacteria has zero relationship with Cretaceous microorganisms. Even clean water here could disable you within hours. You drink anyway. You have no choice. Dehydration kills faster than bacteria here. It is now 8 a.m. The jungle is fully awake. And you realize something awful. You are being followed. Not by a T-Rex, something smaller, more careful. The tracks behind you are 3-toed, narrow, each print about the size of your hand. They stop every time you stop. Dromaeosaurids, raptors, possibly a small pack of Dakota raptor, the apex raptor of the Hell Creek Formation, 6 feet tall, 8 feet long, and deeply, unsettlingly intelligent. Dakota raptor did not slash with its sickle claw. New research shows the claw was used to pin prey, like a hawk pins a mouse, while the arms and jaws finished the job. They are testing you, measuring you, deciding if you are worth the energy. Do not trip. Do not stumble. Do not appear injured. In predator psychology, anything that limps gets eaten. Look healthy, look confident. Your life literally depends on your posture right now. The raptors eventually drift away. You do not know why? Maybe something more interesting moved nearby. Maybe they simply decided you were too much effort. It does not matter. You keep moving. It is 10 a.m. You find an open clearing, massive. The grass, if you can call it that, is knee-high. Primitive flowering plants dot the edges. It is almost peaceful. Then you hear it. A vibration more than a sound, a low-frequency thump, regular, rhythmic, getting louder. Edmontosaurus, a hadrosaur, roughly 40 feet long, 4 tons. Herbivore, completely harmless, unless you are standing between it and where it wants to go. A hadrosaur herd stampede is not slow. They move at 28 miles per hour. Each animal weighs more than an SUV. You are in their path. You dive behind a boulder, the herd splits around it. The thunder is deafening. Rocks and clods of earth rain down on you for 30 full seconds. You realize why they were running. Hadrosaurs do not stampede without reason. Something enormous was behind them. The T-Rex stops. 20 feet away. You can hear it breathing. A deep, wet sound. It can smell the hadrosaurs. It can smell the dust. It can almost certainly smell you. You do not breathe. You do not move. 50 seconds pass. Then it follows the herd. It was never interested in something as small as you. You were lucky. Profoundly, arbitrarily lucky. It is noon. The heat is now absolutely brutal. 103 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade, and the shade is hard to find. Hyperthermia sets in faster than dehydration. Your core temperature begins rising. Your thinking starts to blur. This is when people make fatal mistakes. You find shade in a cliff overhang. You rest. You eat nothing. Every plant you recognize could be edible. Every plant you don't could be lethally toxic. You are not willing to experiment. The Cretaceous has flowering plants. Angiosperms were just beginning to emerge, but no fruit as we know it. No bananas, no apples, no safety net. It is 2 p.m. The heat starts to ease fractionally. You decide to move again, and then the ground shakes. Not like the herd. Different, slower, heavier. There were still titanosaurs in the late Cretaceous, sauropods, the biggest animals to ever walk on land. Alamosaurus, up to 70 feet long, 80 tons. It is not hunting you, but it does not need to. A single accidental footstep from an 80-ton sauropod turns a human being into a thin red outline in the mud. It would not even notice. You flatten yourself against a tree. It passes. The shockwaves from each footstep rattle your teeth. It disappears into the jungle without ever knowing you existed. It is 4 p.m. You have been awake for 16 hours. You are dehydrated, heat exhausted, insect bitten, and your nerves are absolutely shredded. But you are still alive. And in the Cretaceous, being alive at hour 16 means you are doing something almost no time traveler in fiction ever honestly accounts for. You found shelter in a dense cycad grove. Not comfortable, not safe, but enclosed enough that nothing large can approach without you hearing it first. The sun drops. The temperature falls. A 20-degree drop in under an hour. Your body, already stressed, now has to manage rapid thermal change. Night 2 begins. And Night 2 is identical to Night 1. Except you are weaker, slower. Your reaction time is compromised. Here is the thing no survival show tells you. Sustained terror is physically exhausting. Your adrenal system was not designed to run at maximum output for 24 hours. It breaks down. Your cortisol levels would be peaking and crashing repeatedly. Your immune system suppresses under prolonged stress. Everything that kept you sharp is now working against you. And here is the darkest fact of all. Most people would not die from a predator attack. They would die from exposure, infection, or a simple fall in the dark. The Mesozoic does not kill you dramatically. It kills you through accumulation. Small cuts get infected. Dehydration slows you. One bad step and you cannot run. And then the things that hunt come to you. But let us say you made it. Let us say it is 11:58 p.m. 24 hours have passed. You are barely upright. You smell like fear and infection. But you are breathing. You survived the T-Rex, the raptors, the hadrosaur stampede, the crocodilian river, the flying predators, the insects, the heat, the plants, the dark, and you survived them not because you were strong enough or smart enough. You survived because you were never the main character in their story. You were background noise, a footnote. The Mesozoic does not care about you. That is the most frightening thing about it. You are not prey. You are not a threat. You are simply irrelevant, a warm thing that got in the way. And that indifference is the truest kind of terror. Not that the monsters want to kill you, but that they would do it without a second thought, without malice, without even noticing. The Mesozoic Era was not a place. It was a system, a vast, ancient, brutally optimized machine for converting life into more life, and every gear in that machine was trying to eat every other gear. We sit here in our climate-controlled rooms watching videos on glowing rectangles, and we are the direct descendants of the animals that survived 186 million years of that machine. Your ancestors were small. They were hidden. They came out mostly at night. They survived not by fighting, but by being invisible, by being irrelevant, by not being noticed. You carry that strategy in your DNA, that instinct, that deep, wordless understanding that sometimes the smartest thing you can do is stay very, very still and hope nothing looks your way. The Mesozoic ended 66 million years ago. A 6-mile-wide rock ended it in one afternoon. The machine stopped, and the small things finally had room to breathe. Sleep well tonight. You earned it. Your ancestors certainly did.